let's talk about Canelo and Terence Crawford. Just days removed from one of the best fights of the year, certainly the biggest fight of the year, unanimous decision win by Terence Crawford. I saw that Crawford's going to have this big parade in Omaha, sponsored by Riyadh Season. Canelo says his career is going to continue, but no idea what direction it's going to go. In the aftermath of our podcast episode early in the week, Sergio, people were all over me for suggesting that this fight needs a rematch. They were on Team Mora on that one. They were on Team Mora saying, hey, this
had a great
fight,
week, Chris Mannix.
Hold on.
In and out of the ring.
Hold on. They were on, because the mob is always right. They were on Team Mora saying that this fight absolutely did not need a rematch, absolutely would not be a different outcome. Canelo is old. He's got no chance. He can't beat Terence Crawford. I don't get that. That doesn't track with me.
You didn't get why Terence Crawford was going to win either. It's like you're oblivious to any information that professional boxers and people...
A lot of professional boxers pick Canelo. Don't do that. A lot of professional boxers pick Canelo, including one that sat right here in this studio just a week before the fight, Keith One-Time Thurman.
A lot of undefeated Hall of Famers picked Crawford, Usyk, Bivol, Mayweather Jr. bet on him. There's a lot of people that are above my pay grade that even picked them. Greats that are Hall of Fame. They picked this man. So Crawford, stylistically, you thought weight was going to be a difference, and it wasn't.
I did. We don't need to relitigate that. We did that. We don't.
You were wrong.
I was wrong, and I
again.
said that I underestimated the greatness of Terence Crawford. Right. I completely underestimated it. I didn't think he'd be able to go up 2 weight classes and be dominant in a different way than he was against Spence, but dominant nonetheless. My issue with this debate is that people are saying, no rematch, no rematch, no rematch. But these two guys aren't retiring. They're not going away. Both of them are going to fight again. So you cannot sit there and tell me that there is a more marketable fight out there for both these guys than running it back once again. Your plan to have him drop down to 160 and fight Erislandy Lara is stupid. Canelo Alvarez is not going to move up to fight David Benavidez now at 175. There's nowhere to go. Like, Crawford could still try to conquer 160, but who is putting up real money for that? Canelo has already cleaned out the 168-pound division. Besides Terence Crawford, where else is he going to go? I just think the more time passes, the more we get away from the outcome of this fight, that's when people are going to start to realize that doing it one more time is in the best interest of both these guys. And for boxing, by the way, because that's another big event that you could put on the calendar.
You're pretty stupid for a smart guy, especially when it comes to matchmaking. What happened to Dimitri Bivol when Canelo was outmatched, lost to Bivol? What did Canelo do right after that? Did he rematch Bivol? No. He went and fought John Ryder, a faded Golovkin. He fought Jaime Munguia. He fought Edgar Berlanga. These are fights that we don't want to see him in.
He fought Golovkin first. He
went. He didn't go back to rematch Bivol because because
Bivol.
Are you gonna let me talk?
No. I'm gonna get your timing right. He went from Bivol, who was better than everybody thought at 175, to fighting Golovkin, who at that time was still considered a pretty bad guy. Like, he didn't go to an easy one after that. He made it look a little bit easy, but he didn't go to a fight that was considered easy.
Golovkin was faded, not shot, faded, and he wasn't the same Golovkin.
Did you say that at the time?
There was no intensity. No, of course not. You have to see it to believe it.
What are you talking about?
You have to see it to believe it. And then we saw it, and then we felt bad. It was a shell of himself in Golovkin. But, still, Golovkin only lost to one fighter and lost against Canelo and got the only blemishes in his career against Canelo. But then after that, there were calculated risks. He fought a smaller Jermell Charlo for all the belts. He fought Jaime Munguia, a guy that he could have knocked out. He helped up. He fought Edgar Berlanga, who Berlanga didn't deserve a chance at him. He fought William School, who no one ever heard of, and no one will ever want to ever hear of him again. So he took these risks all the way to another mega fight in Crawford. So now you want him, after having a one-sided loss like he did against Bivol, to do it right back. That would be career suicide. No, you take those popular fights, you elevate your name again, and then that's when you come back.
You think he needs to elevate his name again? His name. He had 65 of the 70,000 people in that building were there for Canelo Alvarez.
And if they rematch, half that crowd would be gone.
Let me say this right off the bat. Terence Crawford clearly won this fight. But on the scorecards, it was a competitive fight. On your scorecard, it was a competitive fight. I saw
was
you getting
sitting in the nosebleed.
and you haven't rewatched it. So I
watched the highlights.
Yeah, exactly. You were getting dunked on social media all week long for saying it was a blowout win when you had it 7-5 too.
No, I didn't.
You scored it 7-5.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. You said your tweet said 6-5 going to the 12th. So you either had it 7-5 or you had it a draw.
Everyone knows I'm bad at math, all right? But this was more like an 8-4 type fight, all right? And the fact that I was sitting so high up
You
up
weren't
there,
that high. You were lower than me. You were in the lower bowl.
Yeah, better vision. I
like watching you try to wriggle your way out of this.
I just thought you said it best in the last pod. Something about it was a unanimous decision. He lost, but he lost more convincingly.
He lost convincingly. That was Terence Crawford in the second half of that fight turned on the Jets and won that fight convincingly.
It wasn't a
He
close
won
fight.
the second half of the fight. Again,
It wasn't a close
You scored it close though, is my point. And I think it could be construed as a close fight because I thought the first 6 rounds were close. Like they were nip and tuck. And even Crawford in that 6th round acknowledged he stepped on the gas. He knew that fight was a little bit close and he stepped on the gas and asserted himself in the second half. My point is, as we sit here, you have still not given me a better answer for an opponent for both of these guys. Name right now better opponents, more marketable opponents for 2 guys that are in the twilight of their career. This is not 2019 where they're both young and are going to be in the game for a long time. These 2 guys probably have 2, maybe 3 fights max that's left in them. Name me better opponents for both these guys.
I got you. Canelo should either cash out and fight Benavidez next, a fight that we all want to watch.
He's not going to do it.
I know he's not. So then he should go to fight someone that has a great fight, undefeated record,
Name him.
and Hamza Shiraz.
You want him now to fight Hamza Shiraz?
Now, because he needs a bounce back fight. I would say Chris Eubank Jr., but he's tied up with Ben. So I would say Hamza Shiraz just hit lottery because that's a fight that could be made. That's a fight that Riyadh season will pay for. He deserves after knocking out Berlanga. You could sell that saying, well, I did something you couldn't do. You knocked down, what's his face, Berlanga. I knocked him out. So there's how you sell that fight. Hamza Shiraz on a bounce back fight with Canelo.
I don't know why Canelo would do that, but putting that aside, Crawford, what's the better fight for him?
Crawford's the one that's going to actually be in a rock and a hard place because after that huge mega fight, you're not going to see that money again. The $50 million that he made, he's not going to make that again.
There would be tens of millions of dollars in a rematch with Canelo Alvarez.
I get it.
Tens of millions.
But I don't think it's smart for Canelo to take that rematch. But if Bud really wants to make a statement, and I know you're going to hate it, you've set into the sunset with this fight.
He doesn't want to do that.
And I heard Andre Ward
Shakur Stevenson said the same thing.
Yeah,
I get it.
And I think that's the best way to go because what do you have to prove, man? You're going to be 38 years old. You got a handful of kids. You haven't taken any punishment, and you just won the biggest fight of your career. You can do exactly what Andre Ward did, what Floyd Mayweather Jr. did, and retire on top at your highest earning abilities, man. Show that you have intelligence. And he has plenty of intelligence. We know he can fight his butt off. Now show that you can actually be a businessman all the way to the end. I think Terence Bud Crawford has a perfect send-off right now to just kiss everything and everyone goodbye and say, hey, look, I'm dropping this mic on my note, and then pick up his mariachi case and head out.
That is easier said than done when you are undefeated, the king of 168, and have the earning potential Terence Crawford has. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Why did Andre Ward do it?
Andre Ward didn't have the same earning potential.
Why did Mayweather Jr. do it?
Mayweather Jr. had already made God knows how much money at that point. Like this, Terence Crawford has made good money in his career, but it's only the last 2 fights where he has made generational wealth. And that's because he has aligned himself with Turki Al-Sheikh and done these Riyadh season types of shows. If you have a chance to earn generational wealth, I don't care if you still live in Omaha, Nebraska. That money, still those checks, they still matter. Andre Ward, and even Andre Ward, like he's talked about this in the past. Like I saw an interview he did once on his podcast, I think, where he said that if Canelo had called him out after Canelo knocked out Kovalev, Andre Ward would have considered it. He's out there talking about Anthony Joshua right now. So he's not all the way out of the game. I just think it's asking a fighter to do something that you wouldn't do as a fighter, to walk away when there's that kind of money on the table.
I walked away with a win, with money on the table.
You
What are
still
talking
want to
about?
fight.
Yeah, but only against a certain
You've been
caliber fighter.
You have been trying to get the third Manfredo fight for the better part of 5 years. I've known you for 7 years.
If my phone didn't ring for this DAZN gig, I would have got knocked out by an up-and-comer. And it was probably going to be one of the Charlo brothers.
Nobody's telling Terence Crawford to fight an up-and-comer. Nobody's telling him to fight Hamza Shiraz or to move up to 175. I'm just suggesting you do it again. You run it back. It's still a marketable fight. And look, how many of these great fights?
More and more fighters are, and this is a great look if you're a fighter, if you're a boxer, because we've dedicated our lives to this, and to retire undefeated, to retire without taking a loss, to retire with the marbles in your head, with a full bank account. It's to the demise of the fans saying, "What are you doing? You're leaving all this. You're leaving us behind." But that's the right thing to do as a fighter, as a champion. So look, as a fighter, I'm saying that's what Terence Crawford should do, man. You have nothing else to prove. You're 3 times undisputed. All the accolades are there. Your resume's unblemished. You haven't even been touched. You don't even have a blemish on your career. Like Ricardo Lopez retired undefeated, but he has a draw. He has a draw. That's blemish, right? This guy has a flawless record like Mayweather Jr., like Andre Ward. That is very unheard of. I mean, you can go through your career undefeated, but you haven't faced the real fighters. So yeah, man, I think right now is the time for him to say "c'est la vie" to this great sport, to the sweet science, and say, man, I'm gonna go raise my kids and I'm gonna focus on something else, because he'll be great at that too.
Can't spend legacy. And if you have a chance to make $50+ million to run it back with Canelo Alvarez,
man, you're a
he'd
Republican.
do it.
You love that.
Do it.
You just love money. How about brain cells, man? How about the health of your future self, that you could raise your children? And Bud has a lot of kids. How about that, man? How about him not slurring his words? How about him?
Doesn't seem like he's
How
in
about
that
him
position.
becoming a businessman, a Bud Businessman Promotions out in Nebraska? How about him linking up with Warren Buffett? Who I
Didn't
think
seem to get
lives out
touched
there
in that
Nebraska
Canelo fight.
somewhere.
Didn't get bothered
Doesn't
in that
matter,
Canelo
man. You're
fight.
one punch away from injury.
I get it, but you still. My problem with you saying this is you keep trying to come back. You offered to fight that guy Pablo from New York for like $100,000 like a month ago.
But I'm stupid. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. I've always aligned myself with risk,
Pablo
and
Valdez,
danger,
is that his name?
and
Pablo
gambling.
Valdez.
I'm a Sagittarius, man. We
We had a conversation in the car on the way over here about you getting another fight.
like playing dice with our brain cells. I'm telling you, that's the way it is.
All right.